What were the Founding Fathers thinking? Mark, when they gathered in this room and they created an Article 5 convention for proposing amendments, had they not ever been to a political convention? I mean, I agree with this question right here, actually. I've been to state conventions, national conventions. They are chaotic. Would you really want the Constitution to be open to amendments at one of these chaotic conventions?
I think the answer is these guys understood convention really well, actually. In fact, there were 11 conventions before 1787, interstate conventions of various sizes and on various subjects. Most of the guys in this room had been to conventions before, so they knew the process, they were really familiar with the process, and yeah, there was chaos in this convention, right? I mean, they almost didn't make it a couple of times. And so they understood that process and they understood what came out at the back end. And by the way, this is not a state party convention. Remember, again, you've got all the states participating. It's not just one state. It's not run by a party apparatus. There's all the conflict.
So I shouldn't be thinking of 10,000 people booing each other and screaming at each other. That's what I think of when
I like that thought.
But
no, I mean, remember, so the convention itself, this process of coming together in convention is filled with checks and balances. Because all the states, bouncing off each other. They all have their own interests, there are factions. So they trusted the process because they had lived through the process themselves.
Well, and you created a simulation so that we could see that a couple of years ago at Colonial Williamsburg. And that, for me, changed this question. Being able to see, I think it was, 100 or so legislators
about 150.
150 legislators out there going through this process that these guys designed. That changed that for me. I realized, okay, this is how it would work. It was very orderly, it was very respectful, it was done correctly. That's what a real convention would be like.
Well, and by the way, these guys also had experience as they were coming out of this time period in party conventions. Party conventions have always been chaos. I mean, we've got a long history of those in American history. Interstate conventions, we don't have any history of an out-of-control interstate convention. We now have a record of around 41 interstate conventions in American history, 11 before 1787, the rest since. We've got records for most of them. Professor Nadelson has detailed all of these. There is not any example in any time in American history where a convention ran away or got out of control.
Well, those details available at conventionestates.com. You can read Professor Nadelson's work there, and that's what these Founding Fathers were thinking.